Welcome back to Arise Prime Time, where we offer perspectives on the news and talking points of the day. I'm Charles Enyegolu. So in the wake of those feisty discussions on the program today, who's got the right of it? Well, this is the point in the show that I introduce our guest analyst, who is here to give his perspective on nearly everything we've covered in the program and beyond. And today, I'm joined here in the studio by the political commentator, public affairs analyst, and keen supporter of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Prince Kassim Afegbua. Thank you very much indeed. I love your fedora.
Thank you very much.
But be careful that you don't use it to cover your eyes, because we need to be able to see your eyes when we're talking with you.
Okay, that's fine.
Now, you heard the two presidential campaign council members from different sides of the political divide going at each other. The subject, of course, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How do you score the two sides in that verbal conflict?
But of course, Charles, you know where I stand, and I'm quite happy you gave the right introduction. A keen supporter of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I listened to the presentation of both of them. I think we need to wake up, and PDP as an opposition party, they need to wake up, because I listened to the kind of position that Kola Ologbodiyan was advancing here, saying that somebody is reading a prepared speech. I don't know, is that a crime in political campaigns? For God's sake, I have traveled to the US to be taught how, to do campaigns. I understand the nuances and all of that. I did a program in 2004. Even Obama, his popular speech that gave him the presidency was a prepared speech. So you can speak through the teleprompter, you can speak by written speech and all of that. Why is that a problem? The problem is, as opposition, PDP is heavily a Kumba. And I keep telling them, you see, when you have a party that cannot interrogate its own processes, it becomes a problem. As an opposition, you are expected to live above board. And I heard them talking about the gaffe you're talking about. Bola Tinubu saying PD, APC. That was a smart move. It's cultivating the G5 governors. They're PD.
I like that. That's a pretty smart thing to say, isn't it?
They're PD. That's the truth. He needs to reach out to them. It's deliberate. So
I don't know if it's deliberate.
It is deliberate. What are they talking about? You see, you don't, in an era of political campaigns, you don't expect people to just sit back or lay back and begin to do things in your own way. You are interrogating, you are saying, Atiku has covered 8 states, Tinubu has covered, for God's sake.
But let's nail it down to the big issue.
Go ahead.
What's your assessment of these allegations against Mr. Tinubu? Because there are these US court documents, which I have seen, and, unless they're forged, they seem to be quite damning.
Charles, my first impression about those documents is that they are fake documents. That's my first impression. And why do I say this? You have seen them, I have seen them. Who was being addressed? Who did they address the letter to? Did you apply to the court in Illinois to find out these details?
Yeah, but actually, that's where the documents came from.
Did they write to you as a person or as an organization? They didn't.
I don't understand what you mean.
I'm telling you.
These documents are in the public domain.
No. You see, you can say documents are in the public domain, but the veracity of those documents needs to be tested first and foremost. I'm not going to be blindfolded by the same mechanics of people trying to, just seeing documents on social media and you lash onto them. More this year alone, IBB has been reported to have been dead and buried. This year, 7 times. Wait, I'm coming to fake news. 7 times. I kept to me. I said, God will continue to grant the man longer life, because they will display a corpse, they will display his picture and all of that. We kept responding until at a point we just ignore. Because when somebody dies in Islam, You don't keep the person under the bushel.
Yeah, but the key thing is that you responded.
Let me land.
It's perhaps a better way for the man who is on the receiving end of this to
APC as a party
simply step forward and tell the truth.
His campaign has responded. They have issued a statement that they are going to pursue the legal process to sue those who are carrying those kind of news. That's one. Two, Charles, why is it that it's only because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is contesting election that this issue suddenly came to the fore?
No, because that's often, well, it's not the first time it's come out.
No, wait. Are we saying that if he was not contesting for election, that this issue would have been okay if they were proven to be right?
No. To be fair,
the position that people have taken is partisan. The position people have taken is deliberate, just to distract him. He will not be distracted, I can tell you that. And the brilliance of that man, I was just wondering when I was listening to Kola Logbodinho talking about restructuring and devolution. Those are language of Tinubu as an activist who worked tirelessly for enthroning democracy in this country. You can't take away that from him.
Yeah, but you were a member of the PDP. In fact, you were a spokesman for Atiku at one point.
I left because of the big issue. And Charles, if you try to sweep that big issue under the carpet, this country will
What's the big issue?
The big issue is that in a plural society like Nigeria, where you have northern and southern protectorates, power must be rotated between the north and the south. If you try it, I will think that you are trying to be clever by half. Protestations, agitations that will come, and you are hearing Yoruba Nation, you are hearing IPOB and all of that. You won't be able to contend them. Stability in a democracy is a sine qua non to good governance. And if you don't have that good governance, you can't translate your policies into programs, into practice for the people to benefit. So we must be conscious of the unity, of the cohesion, the national conversation that should naturally exist among different ethnic configurations in the country when we are playing our politics. And these issues have to be deliberate, have to be conscious, and we must continue to dig on them. Because, God forbid, Atiku becomes president, for example. You think Atiku will have the stability of mind to carry out policies and programs in this country the way they are championing it? If there are agitation in Southeast, the agitation in Southwest, he can contain it. Or the agitations in the South, you think he can contain it?
Well, I don't know. The point is we must. I don't know whether Tinubu can do it either. But the point is this.
No, it is the turn of the South.
If you were,
that point must be made.
I understand what you mean.
Yes.
But returning to that issue, that was the focal point of the sort of the disagreements between the two sides earlier in the program. If you were to advise Mr. Tinubu right now, as this issue appears to be growing, what would you advise him to do? Be dismissive, as he appears to be right now, or come out and clear the air by speaking to the issue?
There is no air to be cleared. Since everybody has become a judge in the case by relying so much on the social media document, they should clear it themselves. Because the truth of the matter is that the statement has been issued that he's going to take the legal route. He's going to test those issues and all of that. Persons who have been making conclusive statement about those documents. Secondly, there is no criminal conviction of Tinubu in those documents that I consider to be fake. Nobody has told me that the court of Illinois wrote to them by virtue of request and they say, yes, this is it. The only one that I remember, it was in 2003 when President Obasanjo was taking on Asiwaju Tinubu, that he had to instruct Tafa Balogun to write to FBI. And they replied that the man has no element of criminal records with them and all of that. And they gave him a clean bill of health. The letter is also in circulation. That, to me, is the standpoint. And anybody who is still detaining himself with talking about papers, documents, somebody pay money into my account. I didn't know that proceed of crime and all that, of drug and all that. And because of that, you want to rope the man through vicarious means. The person is just trying to cause unnecessary distraction. And because Tinubu is a master in this game, he can never be distracted because 2023 is there for him to win.
So basically, all this does not affect your support for Mr. Tinubu. You're not wavering in any way.
I think they enhance my support for him. You know why? The moment you see that a candidate is coasting home to victory in Nigerian politics, I have played it for 26 years. That is when you see people dragging, raking mods and all of that. The article they are talking about has unfinished business with the Jefferson corruption allegations. The caller was saying that, Atiku is the most investigated. There are reports of investigation on Atiku over PTDF money. They refuse to prosecute him because of certain conspiracies. I have a paper written, the letter written by Nuhu Ribadu told President Obasanjo that, saying that this SYZ money was misappropriated, it should be prosecuted.
Yeah, well, I don't have those documents.
I have. So. I'm telling you, I have. I'm a journalist.
The thing about
and
it
the one
is
of Jefferson is also there.
Yeah, we can't support or make allegations.
But those papers are also on social media. So go and tap into them. The same way you tap into this.
No. We are down the middle. We don't take sides.
I'm not saying you should take sides. I said
so
tap
it doesn't matter who it is. If there are issues of investigation, we will follow them.
Jefferson is in prison in the US. Go and take all those documents. You see where they did an elaborate report on Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And so, and those issues have not been cleared. Even the going to America, there is a law firm that talked about him owing them money. So what are we talking about?
But I mean, let me ask you to put on your analysis hat, and thank heavens you're already wearing a hat. But do you think that both sides, the APC and the PDP, are now going to step up their war with each other as they jockey for position with the voters? Is it going to get much more antagonistic, dirty, brutal, with a lot more smears and spin?
Let me look at it this way. I think if you look at the two scenarios, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has been contesting presidency since 1992, so he will be more of the desperado than a Tinubu who is just making the first attempt this time round. That's one. Secondly, the two of them, they might be in contention for presidency #1 position, but I don't see them quarrelsome because they met at the airport and they interacted. That means there has to be some level of decorum amongst representatives of both candidates in the way and manner they churn out literatures to back up their campaigns, whether you like it or not. Charles, I will drum it till the end of 2023 elections. It is the turn of the South. That was why those laudable governors of the North, who I like to refer to as my heroes, met, 14 of them, and took a decision, presented a position paper to the president and said, no, after you 8 years, it is the turn of the South.
Right.
We are ceding this position to them in order not to deepen the mistrust and the schisms and all manners of conspiracies.
Yeah, but your candidate has gone and picked a Muslim running mate in the same country that you're talking about divisions.
You see, Charles, I keep telling people, we have a Christian vice president now. Can you please name a church that he has built for the Christian community?
No. All I'm saying is it's the same points that you're making. It's in the interest of balance.
The moment you bring in religion to be a deciding factor in politics, you are making a mistake.
Yeah, but that's precisely you're bringing regionalism. But you don't think religion is also a dividing factor.
It's not a dividing factor. Charles, you know why? Religion talks about salvation. It talks about your conduct on earth when you are facing God. The reward for religion is not here. It is in heaven.
Okay.
Or hell.
All right.
But in politics, the reward is right here in terms of good governance and ability to provide enabling environment for people to pursue their legitimate aspirations without let or hindrance.
Okay.
So there are two different things.
Right.
But people will naturally whip up these sentiments just for the same purpose. You saw the campaign.
I don't necessarily agree with you,
but
unfortunately, we have run out of time. But I want to thank you very much indeed, Prince Kassim. I know what you're going to say, but we have in fact run out of time. Prince Kassim Afegbua is a political commentator, public affairs analyst, and a keen supporter
I like
of
that
Bola
word.
Ahmed Tinubu.
I'm owing you.
Thank you very much indeed. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.